So the next question is, discuss your responses to the questions that I just asked and or offer other alternatives for improving our school systems. And Lee, you would respond to this question first.
Okay, now my first answer was yes. And I just think that costs are not the same across the Commonwealth. The cost of living is not the same, so I just think the cost of a charter school would fluctuate. In regards to 36% of funding by the state, well, I just think that the problem is that we have too much infrastructure, too many administrative jobs tied to education, and too much of the money isn't going into the classrooms. It's being eaten by administrative costs, and that is a problem. I don't remember what the third question was.
Do you support merit pay for teachers?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. I think that there should be a small incentive to increase the performance of their students, but I don't think we should educate them to meet the standards to pass a certain test. And on property tax, I think we have to find a new way to fund public education because I just don't see property tax being able to sustain it with the amount of pension obligations that the public school system has at this time because the legislature made the votes they made, and the cost of education and building schools and maintaining schools continually increasing. I think we need to go to possibly a sales tax-based taxation formula.
Okay. Ken, the same question to you.
The first question with respect to charter schools, personally, I don't believe that charter schools should be funded by the state, and I believe in public education. The second question was?
Is 36% of the cost of educating a student enough of a share from the state?
Well, we've seen increases, and as Majority Secretary of the Education Committee, I have voted for increases the past three budget cycles, and every school district in the 112th has seen increases over the past 3 years. Is 36% enough? I'd like to see more. We're getting there. I believe that we're committed to it. We need to continue, although these are tough economic times and budgetary times. We need to keep moving forward with our dedication to public schools. So I would like to see more is the answer. The third question with merit pay, I think it's an incentive. I think that it'll bring the best of the best out. Number 4, with respect to the property tax, is that the best way to fund it? It's the system that we have now. We could, for example, House Bill 1275, which I said is complex. If we could move something like that, we could do away with property tax. But right now, we have what we have, and I could tell you by us stepping up to the plate on the state level, it has taken the burden off the local school boards. We've taken on the responsibility of adding more funding on the state level to take pressure away from the local taxpayer.
Thank you. Lee, do you have anything to add?
Not at this time.
The next question pertains to higher education and jobs in particular, and I want to say that this question came from our pre-law society. So we have college students in the audience this evening. I'm asking you to address your response to them. College students today face large amounts of debt and an entry into a very dull job market. How serious do you think this problem is, and what solutions do you propose for lifting the burden that graduating students face? And Ken, the first response is yours.
Well, once again, as the Majority Secretary of the Education Committee, I understand the challenges. As a father of 2 children, a son that's 21 and a daughter that's 19 and at East Stroudsburg University, I understand those costs. I understand the challenges. There's two ways I would address this. One, obviously, is through economic growth. Obviously, the more money we have coming into the state, the more dollars we have to put towards higher education. Number 2, and I think this is important, a public-private partnership where the state and private business come together to offer scholarships and aid for higher education in different areas, whether it be the science or human services or education, whatever it may be, but on different levels, public-private cooperation.
Lee, the question to you.
Could you repeat that question, please?
College students today face large amounts of debt and an entry into a very dull job market. How serious do you think this problem is? And what solutions do you propose for lifting the burden that graduating students face?
Well, I personally believe that this is the most troubling thing that's happening now in Pennsylvania. We ask a lot of young adults to go forward to get a college education. And I think there's a couple of solutions to this problem. One of them is to change the corporate tax rate, because I think that's the solution to create jobs, because as you cut the corporate tax rate and they reinvest in corporations, they're going to start hiring students from colleges in engineering and multiple other things. The money to do this, I think, should come out of the budget. I think there needs to be an increase in higher education funding. I think the only way to accomplish that is to go back once again and take the budget apart line item by line item and divert the money to where it should be going. I just think we elect people a lot who talk about a higher education, and I just know for an absolute fact that, you know, we have young adults coming out of college with $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 worth of debt and no real future, because I don't see how you take part in the American dream if you're paying student loans for 20 years. I think we talk one thing and we do something else, and I think the greatest gift that we should give all the residents of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is real help in higher education. I think that the state needs to make that a very serious priority, and that's all I have.
Ken, anything to add?
No.
We're going to move on now to focusing on governmental reform in a variety of different ways. And the first question to Lee will be on judicial elections. So right now in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we elect our judges. The question is, do you support changing Pennsylvania's method for selecting judges by election to a system of merit selection? Why or why not?
No, I believe that all judges should be elected. I just think that the people have a right to decide who's going to administer a law over them, and I think that if we appointed judges that we'd become political, and we have enough of a political mess on our hands at this time. Just look at Wilkes-Barre with judges.
Ken?
I believe on the county level, we can elect them because they are people of our neighborhoods, of our communities, and we know them. And we know, for the most part, who they are and what they're all about and what their platform is. I think when it comes to the state level, whether it be the Supreme Court, the Superior Court, you don't know those people. So I think on that level, we can have them appointed by a nonpartisan, independent council.
Lee, any rebuttal?
I just don't think there's any such thing as a nonpartisan council in government. My opponent here has talked about Republicans, and I'm sure Democrats and vice versa. Republicans talk about Democrats. And I just don't think that any judge, no matter what level they sit on, except the Supreme Court, should be appointed. And they're appointed by the president. I think all judges should be elected no matter what.
The next question deals with election reform, and Ken, the first response will go to you. And my question for you is, would you support legislation to allow no-fault absentee voting and to ease the deadlines for returning absentee ballots?
Yes, because we want to be inclusive, and the more people that participate in the election venue, the stronger our democracy will be.
Lee, the question to you.
No, I agree. We should allow that, absolutely.
Anything to add, Ken?
No.